I didn't thought I was making a video today, but here we are. Stand up, Vanguard! Hey card fighters, today Bushiroad decided to reveal the last two VRs of the upcoming ultra rare set. The one for New Nectar, that is bonkers good with the amount of plussing it can do. And the one for Angel Feathers, that is so meta defining that it's way ahead of the meta that we're used to, and it looks bad, but it's actually quite a good card. But let's take a more deeper look on both of the cards and see what they bring to the table and how they might define the deck archetypes. So let's talk first about the Angel Feathers VR. Solidify, Celestial, Zahiriel. She has two skills. Her first skill is a continuous Vanguard rearguard circle that states when a card was put into the damage zone, your front row gets plus 3k. It's a continuous ability, meaning that it does not stack, but it looks a little bit reminiscent of the old Broken Hearts, Nurture Broken Hearts skill. But in this case we need to have multiple copies on the field to get multiple times of the increase. But still a very good skill because we can change 9k attackers and 12k attackers and increase our magic numbers. And also it works on the rearguard circle, so she will become a 15k attacker, meaning that with 8k boost it's a 23k column. And those are good numbers to make. But her magic lies in her other skill, and that's Act Damage Zone. When your opponents are grade 3 or above, this card is face up, then put the top card of your deck into the damage zone, and you can then write this one from the damage zone onto your Vanguard circle as stand. So basically what it means is that if it's in the damage zone, during your main phase, you can then write it onto your Vanguard circle if your opponent's already sitting at grade 3. You cannot heal with it because you're putting a face down damage, so you're not getting free counterblast either. But what it means is that you can fetch protect markers on will. So if the card's in your damage zone, then if you don't have a great rewrite target in your hand for that turn, you can then use her skill to put it on the Vanguard circle and gain the protect marker that turn. And it's a free skill. And also because you then put a card into the damage zone, her continuous skills also get procced, so you already get the +3 on the front row. So it does its own thing, it works on its own, and it is a good card that works well with the other cards because it fixes that a card is put in damage zone. So all the other cards with the effect that it needs to trigger it, you need to put a card in damage zone. Well, that's then already met. But also the fact that you can get a protect marker on will. And it can fix your right chain because with Oracle Think Tank the problem is if you cannot rewrite your cards, you're going to die because you're not getting your pluses and you're not getting your protect markers. And if those things are sent to the damage zone, you're having a bad day. With Angel Feathers, it's not the case because you can get cards out of there, or you can call them. But in this case, you don't have to waste the skills on the grade 3 because the grade 3 gets itself for free onto the Vanguard circle. Meaning that you can then only focus on your high pressure cards like grade 2s and grade 1s with high power columns. Meaning that Angel Feathers can focus around more on attacking with high numbers than basically keeping itself alive, what Oracle Think Tank is doing throughout most of the game until you go into your Imperial or their turn. So that makes Angel Feathers a lot more aggressive, has a lot more aggressive potential than the other Protect clans. But it doesn't stop there, because the other thing is that this thing is going to potentially change the meta. What we want to do is to see how we can abuse this card. And as we can see, it's an act ability that allows us to write. So we can potentially write to grade 2 in our right phase and then go to this thing as our grade 3. And we cannot do that always because our opponents need to be sitting on grade 3, because that's the restriction for the card. But at the same time, we can make that scenario happen. Because a lot of cards nowadays have on their grade 1 or grade 2 a special skill that uses a counterblast that starts our whole engine. We got Circle Mages that draws a card. We got Dendro Mario that mills a lot of cards and then can fix the hand. We got the Kagero grade 2 that counterblast Soul Blast and then draws a card and kills a unit. And all those cards work on the fact that on their first turn they take a damage. But with Angel Feathers now, because it's a very control-heavy deck that can manage to survive a lot because they can heal things, we can say, you know what? We will stay on our grade 0s one turn. We attack with the Vanguard, or grade 0, it cannot hit their first grade 1 target, so they're not getting the Count Blast. But we're still getting our drive check, so we're not minusing. And the fact that they cannot activate their grade 1 Counterblast skills, they effectively, we weaken their engine. And then they go to grade 2, then they go to grade 3, and then we can go to grade 2 and then immediately go to grade 3 and we can skip a grade with the help of the Zahiriel. and that helps a lot with that can help a lot with allowing us to survive into the late game or deny our opponent any access to any skills. But granted, it needs to be in a damage zone, so it has a high RNG value, but we still have a lot of cards to be revealed for Angel Feathers and some high rarity cards, and I think we're going to get a card that can swap cards from our hand. So we can then put the Grade 3 from our hand into the damage zone. I think that is we're going to have at least one card that does that, or at least in a very soon upcoming booster set for Angel Feathers. Because it's a so core set mechanic for them to do that, that I expect that they have to have that. But that's the way to battle any kind of other clan, like Kagero, Oracle Think Tank, Ground Blue. But we're forgetting one important clan that's already in this set that's coming, and that's Gold Paladin, Azel. I talked about it in my reveal set for Azel this week, link on top. If you're interested in that video and you haven't checked it out, then I recommend checking it out because that card is amazing. But what it basically does is that you can superior ride from grade 2 immediately go to grade 3. And so you can sitting on grade 1, go to grade 2, go to grade 3, and your opponent is still sitting on grade 1. And you're now sitting on grade 3. But you lose a drive for that. But it's still a lot of extra pressure that it gains. And I think that is going to change the meta, like Murakumo did a little bit in Japan, and maybe we're going to see it here in the Western Vanguard circuits. But I think Gold Paladin is definitely going to change the meta and going to serve as a gateway for more Exo clans to go onto the big stage and winning a lot of tournaments like Murakumo did. So we have a big announcement of a lot more Exo clans on the field, with, I believe, Gold Paladin leading the front. But at the same time, because they can superior ride, we as Angel Feathers can mimic that pattern. Because we then, if they go to grade 1, then immediately go to grade 2 and then go to grade 3, we can do that with Zahriel also. Because then we go to grade 2, and because we're sitting at a grade 3, we can use her skill from the damage zone and ride her again on the Vanguard circle. Meaning that we don't sit a turn back on our grade 2. We both skipped our grade 2 turn. The only upside for us is we still have our twin drive. They didn't. So I think these two clans are going to define the meta as the new Exo and Protect definers. And Zahriel is definitely the one that is mandatory for Angel Feathers to keep up with it. But it only works if Angel Feathers is going to get a grade 1 or a grade 2 that can swap cards from the hand. Also, a lot of people think that Angel Feathers is going to get a card like Deer, because they don't really have a kill potential, and that's definitely can possibly happen. But think about the other grade 2 that we got, Metatron. That thing is amazing and insane. But I will talk about that more on the set review when that card set is done and we've seen everything. So if you're interested in the rest for Angel Feathers, then definitely wait for the video and check that one out when it's up. But I think this card is bonkers good, and it's way beyond the meta that we're going to see. That's why a lot of people are going to think it's a bad card, because it doesn't have a place now. But the moment that Gold Paladin shows up and we see the rest of Angel Feathers, then we can see that potentially Angel Feathers is going to be the next #1 or Protect clan that beats Oracle Think Tank in her way overdue crown that she has for way too long. But who knows, we need to wait up for the next set reveals for all the clans. So yeah, I'm very hyped for this card. But it's not the only one that we got. We also got White Lily Musketeer Cecilia. And her skill is Act Vanguard Circle once per turn, Counterblast 1, retire 1 of your rearguards, look at the top 5 cards from your deck, and call up to 2 cards along them to the rearguard circle, and shuffle your deck. But if you have a grade 3 in Soul, you can then call up to 3 cards instead of 2, and 3 units in the front row get plus 10k power. Meaning that you basically are at least plussing 1, and if you have a grade 3 in your Soul, you're plussing 2 on the field. And that is incredibly good. This is way better than the superior calling that Royal Paladin can. But granted, it's the top 5, so you don't really have a control of what you can call. But if you think about, if you're just looking at the sense of how many things you can call, and with the whole token engine, then you can basically fill fields from the get-go for only 1 counterblast. And you can also gain 10k to the front row, and don't forget it's a force clan, so you're getting for 1 counterblast, filling the field with maybe 40k attacks for only 1 counterblast. That's insane. And so against where Force clans may have some issue against control clans like Kagero, this clan, Neonectar, won't have that issue. With the amount of superior calling and creating tokens and what they can do, and with Cecilia revealed, that's no problem, no way. But the crazy part about this card is the synergy with all the cards that it has. Because if you look at the cards they already revealed, we have a grade 1 that's basically is an 8k grade 1 that gains 3k power for every card that is superior called to the field. So meaning when this card is placed, things get a plus 9k, potentially more because we can even create more tokens with it. So that can become a 20k attacker, 20k booster. That's pretty damn good. Then we also have a grade 1 that when it's placed, we can then give 5k away to a unit. That also can then later bounce back to your hand. So more power to the field. We have a grade 2 that can generate a token, so we can generate even more rear guards and more power to the field. And we have a grade 2 when that thing is called, and we have 2 grades, I believe grade 0s or grade 1s and lower. I believe grade 1s and lower. That when it's called to the field, we can then counterblast 1, draw a card, I believe, but the main part about the thing is that it gains 5k to both units in the same column. So meaning that we can another 10k on the field. So we have a lot of options. We have a lot of good targets to hit with Cecilia to create in full field and create an enormous powerhouse. Meaning that the synergy with Cecilia with already the revealed card, it's amazing. But the card itself is just bonkers because if you just look at it like it's on its own, it's counterblast 1, retire rear guard, so it's a -1 on the field, but you potentially gain 3 units, so it's a counterblast 1 plus 2. And it gains power to the field. So that's incredibly a lot of plussing you're doing for only 1 counterblast. And the restrictions, there's almost no restriction. You don't have to keep rewriting because you're not soul blasting it. It only has to be in the soul. So if you cannot rewrite it, no problem. You can just sit on Cecilia for the rest of the game and keep using your skill if your riggers are getting shut down. So yeah, I don't see there's any downside to it. And the crazy part is we still have a high rarity card need to be revealed. I believe we still have a triple rare to go for Neonectar. And we still have a lot of common cards and some rares. So I'm scared for what they can do. I think Neonectar is going to be an incredibly high powerhouse of a card. And a lot of people were surprised that she did not work with plant tokens in particular. But at the same time she retires units so you can kill a plant token for it. And she also generates a lot of rear guards that can potentially summon more plant tokens. Meaning that you can, if you're sitting in an empty field, so 1 rear guard, kill it off, you can potentially build, for 1 counterblast, a full field of 5 cards. I think that is going to be so busted in some cases that it looks so unfair that I'm very curious of what the other cards are going to be and how some random RNG works out that your opponent is like, oh, I'm going to win this. His field is empty, and then I'm using its skill, call field, then call another card, that triggers that effect, then calls his card and triggers that effect, and calls card, then give 10k away, then this 10k here, and then it's like, yeah, I'm attacking for 80, and this another 40. It's like, but that's a soul saver turn on your first grade 3 turn, and you only paid 1 counterblast. You know, yeah. And I can do it again next turn. It's like, what? So yeah, I'm very excited what we're going to get with the last reveals next week. And maybe at the beginning of the week after that, before the set is released in Japan. So we still have a couple of cards to go for Angel Feathers and Neonectar. And we have a couple of high rarity cards for Gold Paladin that we still haven't got. So I think Gold Paladin has the most potential of getting new things, because I think we don't have any of the double rares except for the draw PG. So yeah, I think I'm going to end it for here because I need to do a lot of stuff for tomorrow, because tomorrow I'm going to go to the regional in Germany, Cologne. So as I stated at the beginning of the video, I wasn't planning to do this video, but then Bushiroad decided to reveal 2 VRs on one day, so I had to make a video about it. So yeah, maybe I see some guys with you over in Germany in Cologne in the regional. And for the other guys, then as always, I'm Mr. Time Leap. And I see you guys in the next one.